could be all right.
I don't think you will. And Toto's like, man, I gotta get.
We're lost in a parking lot.
Yeah, I think that's why Toto actually got up and left. Toto, once that door was open, that dog was like freedom.
Toto!
Help me!
She's crazy. She poisoned everyone.
That dog is like, you know what?
I'll take my chance with the cars.
I'd rather stay with a cry.
Another moment with her. No, thank you.
Now that's when it really would be like the shine. That dog is running and Diana Ross, Toto! Toto! Hey everyone, we continue our partnership with Universal Studios talking about retro reviews for Black History Month. And this movie we're going to talk about is one that I was pretty much raised on as a kid, and that is The Wiz. It is definitely a unique film, and we hope you enjoy the discussion. Meanwhile, if you want to keep up with upcoming films, then join Universal's email list at uphe.com/news. All right, folks, so if you've been keeping up with us past few weeks, we've been doing these retro reviews for Black History Month. And we've been doing that in a partnership with Universal Pictures. And so far, we've done a couple of movies that they consider to be Black excellent films from their catalog. And this week we chose another one. All right, I chose it, but I chose this because this is probably one of the oddest movies that they had on the list right here. But it does have some historical and social and cultural significance. And it's also one of those things where this movie was a disaster when it came out, but given time, you know, it's considered, I don't know, you guys tell me.
Cult classic.
Is it considered a cult classic now?
I suppose so.
Yeah. Through time, a lot of people recognized it for things that apparently people didn't see at the time. Some people say this movie was ahead of its time. The movie that we're talking about is The Wiz.
In a different place, in a different time, different.
Go find her ass out there like Jack Nicholson.
I'll just say, let her go. Just let her go.
Yeah, people, that's a screaming Diana Ross in the snow, running after a dog.
Can you help us, sir?
What's in it for me?
You're like, I don't like Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor turned into a damn transformer. If I was to describe this movie, simply put, the easiest way, it's the Black version of The Wizard of Oz.
As a musical.
As a musical.
Right.
Which The Wizard of Oz was also. But this is more of a musical based on a Broadway play. Some people who even know The Wizard did not know that. And you can see the cast that they have in here. Diana Ross, Michael Jackson. You know, the reason why I want to come in and show this is because there is some historical significance to this movie right here. Things to talk about where it shows how things have, if nothing else, it shows how things have changed from the time that this movie was made to where we are now, especially with people of color who make movies today.
The songs, the cinematography, and the production design just don't work for me. I just feel like it's a very kind of like ugly looking movie, and the way in which they shoot a lot of the actors and these big, you know, music numbers, I don't know, leaves a lot to be desired. I just really disliked it for that.
As I was watching this again today, I thought there's no way you could like this. Seriously. Because I know for me, like I was there for it when it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just when this happened. Like The Wiz itself, the Broadway musical, it won the Tony Award.
Yeah.
It was hugely popular,
Right.
at least in the Black community it was.
I can see where you're coming from.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not one of these guys like, oh, the white guy.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
because a lot of the criticisms that you have were the criticisms that they had back in the day.
Right.
See, the thing with this is that, you know, this was not a successful film, but
Far from it.
yeah, but you know, the historical impact of this movie is that it showed that even with an all-black cast, back in the day. So everybody in this movie, there is not one white person in this movie. I think the only white thing in this movie is the snow at the beginning of the film. But there's not one white person in this movie. It's an all black cast. But even if you had an all black cast, it just shows you that Hollywood, they trusted you to sing and dance, but numbers? No, they did not trust you to like bring the numbers in behind the camera.
Sure.
They did not let black people handle huge budgets. Any people of color, really.
Yeah.
Or women or anything like that.
Yeah, all the black people are in front of the camera, but not directing, not writing.
No. And Martin had just mentioned this. The person who directed this is Sidney Lumet, a white Jewish person. And it was also written by Joel Schumacher. Yeah. So he's like, what about it?
What did I do?
You Negroes don't know how to write movies.
Yeah, and a lot of criticism was his script that deviated from the play.
I read about that because the stage version is much different from this actual movie. Like, you know, what didn't it actually take place like they kept a lot of the stuff in Wizard of Oz. Like it's a family, they live on a farm and everything like that.
Yeah, no, they changed this around a more urban kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people right now, they're saying, wait a minute, what? Yeah, Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher was doing a lot of black things back then. He wrote another movie called Car Wash with Richard Pryor in it. So they were just not giving the big high profile projects production wise to people of color, especially black people. You know, you either got a low budget and did a comedy or something, or some offbeat project, or you were in front of the camera and there was somebody, a white person or a white Jew, directing you. Now, although this movie is remembered fondly by some, and it's become a cult classic today, and despite what the marketing tried to do at the time, because they tried to spin it and made it sound like, oh, everybody going to see the Wiz. You better get in line because tickets going to be sold out.
All performances are sold out.
All across the country, they're lining up on the yellow brick road. The Wiz is...
Bullshit. That's what the rest of the world was saying. Yeah, that was a local commercial, I think, at the time.
Right.
But yeah, man, the movie was a commercial and critical failure. So, and a lot of, again, the criticism that people had back in the day, they had the same ones that you did. You know, this was a $24 million production. It was the most expensive musical ever made. Not black musical ever made. And out of $24 million, it only brought in like 13 million. So, as we all know, this even applies today, people of color don't get second chances that much in Hollywood. So once that movie tanked, keep in mind, you did not see another big budget Hollywood black movie until...
We are home.
Yeah, it only took 30 years. That's Black Panther. Black Panther, you know, was, I think, the next movie to have a huge budget.
Yeah.
And this time it was directed by a black person, Ryan Coogler. This is the one that held big budget black productions back. They, you know, no one's blaming the Wiz. They just said that's just the way it was. You know, Hollywood wasn't going to do it. Meanwhile, though, Sidney Lumet got plenty of chances. Joel Schumacher, need I say more? Yeah, he was given big budgets to play with. So, you know, historically, man, that's the impact that this movie had. Years later, though, the movie still it's seen later as something of a staple of black cinema, of the black community, just because it was a huge big budget movie that did those things. And some of those things today, do I think they all work? I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I mean, there's a lot that doesn't work. But after going over things that don't work, you start looking at the things that do work, and it's like these things that work, they really, really work. Yeah. And I just thought, man, if somebody were to redo this now, they'd have the technology, they'd have the skill, they'd know better. I don't know if you get the same level of talent. Yeah. And also, this is so, like, you know, the change to make it so New York based, which I think, I actually don't mind that. I think, well, that's inventive. That's a different way to do it. But this is based on a New York that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was just thinking the same thing. If they remade this as an animated musical.
Yes.
That, you know, and that, believe me, there are certain things that need to be changed. I almost wish they would remake this as an animated musical, because I think there's a lot of things. This movie has a dear and near person. I mean, a dear and near part to my heart. You know, this because I grew up with this movie.
Same here.
I went to the theater. I was a little kid. I didn't know any. I mean, I'm 6 or 5 years old. I don't know any better. I'm not criticizing the movie. I just know I went there and had fun and then grew up with the movie. It would just come on TV. Didn't know that the movie was a critical box office failure.
No clue.
Until probably about 5 years ago, reading up on it just because it was on TV. And every time it's on TV, I watch it, man. It was on during Christmas. I was at home during Christmas or maybe Thanksgiving. And it was on and watched it, man. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this. Like, if they were to redo this, or looking back now as an adult and with a critical eye, what works, what doesn't work, what needs to be changed today if they were to do it again? And just so we can just not go into the negative too hard, I'm going to start off with the negative, and then maybe we can talk about some positive things later. Chris is like, what positive?
I'm waiting to hear it.
He's like, I'm positive it sucks.
No, you know what? There's a couple things I actually do like. When we get to those, I want to highlight. Okay. Those. There's a couple things I like.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, and we laughed about this even when I was a kid, man. I can tell you what doesn't work. To this day, I still do not like Diana Ross as Dorothy, man. Diana Ross in this movie, I like her less now that I'm an adult. I think in this movie she acts like an abused slave, or she's on the spectrum. Or, I don't know. She's always kind of fidgety and just always flinching at people.
As I love you then.
You look like she just poisoned everybody's
food. Finally, vengeance.
Like, she's always looking guilty about something. That last look she gave. You.
Time to go.
I don't think they give any good explanation for why she acts that way.
Not at all. I'm very confused by that. She says she's scared, but she doesn't say why she's scared.
Yeah. She's just generally timid about the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Even when her mom is talking to her, like, hey, you've been doing this same kind of job. She's really telling her, like, it's time for you to move out.
Yeah. She's looking at her and saying, you and that damn dog, get your grown ass out of my house.
Whatever your fears are, well, they'll be defeated just by facing up to them. It's time for you to make a home of your own.
Not here.
Yo, where they gonna go? She look like a black droopers.
Plus, they established, isn't she like supposed to be like, I don't know, like 20 or something?
She's 24.
Like 24.
She's a 24-year-old kindergarten teacher. Or elementary school teacher or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, because she's almost like, problem is you don't know how to handle, you don't know how to behave or act around grown folks.
No.
She's like, I wish you would teach high school so you can get around some people who are close to your age or something.
Because the original Dorothy in the story, she's supposed to be like a teenager, right? She's supposed to be a little girl. Yeah. So here it's just weird that they made her so old.
That's one of the things I would do if I remade this. Yeah. I would make it like a 12 or 13-year-old girl, man. I wouldn't make no grown ass woman.
Yeah, originally she was supposed to be 16, and they going to get Stephanie Mills, who did it on Broadway, and was really at it. Made her career. They had it all lined up, and Diana Ross said, like, nope, I want this. I want it. And Berry Gordy was even like, I think you're too old. She went around him.
Wow. Damn.
Talked to the producer. And she said, listen, you cast me, I'll bring Michael Jackson with me. And I was like, okay.
Michael, we'll talk about him in a minute, but girl, you should look that to somebody else. Because she's, man, through the whole movie, maybe she had just kind of grown or something, but through the whole movie, she's just skittish and sad, and she's not relatable or likable at all because you're always crying. Every time almost every other scene, crying about, always crying.
But I'm gonna be all right.
I don't think you will. And Toto's like, man, I gotta get.
We're lost in a parking lot.
Yeah. I think that's why Toto actually got up and left. Toto, once that door was open, that dog was like freedom.
Toto!
Help me!
She's crazy. She poisoned everyone.
That dog is like, you know what?
I'll take my chances with the cars.
Stay with a crying ass.
Another moment with her. No, thank you.
Now that's what it really would be like to shine. That dog is running and Diana Ross, Toto! Next one, fine ass and Alice.
Crying.
Toto's still alive.
Now, see, when I talked about 11 crying all the time, y'all was like, oh, you're being an asshole.
Because she had something to cry about.
Yeah, she's a little girl now. Yeah.
They explain why she was crying. Even at the end of the movie, we're supposed to be happy. She's she's still crying, doing that ugly face crying.
Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face. If you're listening, God, please don't make it hard.
God don't want to hear that shit. God, like, stop all that damn crying. What you can do. Yeah, man. You know, this performance from her was so ill-received that she didn't go on. She didn't go on to do another theatrical film since then. I think she's done some TV, unless you count like the Land Before Time or something.
Is she a voice in that?
She did a voice in one of the Land Before Time movies, I think. But yeah, they said this kind of, if she had any hopes of doing any more movies, this is the one that kind of ruined that for her.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Because I mean, she's
she was
been
a fine actress.
Yeah, she's been in some other things,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this right here, yeah, she got panned for this. I read, and I can understand why. But when I was a kid, I remember everybody who saw the movie, all my cousins and aunts and everything, they were laughing about it. I mean, why is she crying so much?
Well, it was definitely an uphill battle because we were familiar with The Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy was a young girl, and then she's taking on this role that they even aged up for her, and she was still older for it. And like I said, Stephanie Mills had just been killing it on Broadway in that role. Because we had that soundtrack from the musical, and I can still hear her voice when I hear that song. And just listening now, it's like, man, you shouldn't have gotten her way.
That's amazing because I didn't know Stephanie Mills had done that. Like, you telling me some history about this, I did not know.
Yeah. There was, you know how like Jennifer Holliday got famous for Dreamgirls.
Jennifer Hudson?
No.
Holiday?
Holiday originally on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
And then Jennifer Hudson with the movie.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, it did not work that same way for Diana Ross.
And she was already famous.
The movie has some good performances, some great performances from people that were very surprising for audiences at the time. Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow. I actually, at the time, I remember, again, people talking like, damn, Michael was pretty good in that role. I don't know how you felt about it.
I thought he was fine. The thing that surprised me is that I feel like he's underused. Throughout a lot of this movie, like, he gets like one song for himself, and then everything else, it's either just like, I mean, the Tin Man Nipsey Russell, who is not a singer, gets more solo songs than Michael Jackson.
Well, I think it's because of the play. It's not that.
That's okay. Yeah, and that Scarecrow is one song to play. But if you get Michael Jackson, you got to give him more. I feel like he's underused
at the time, Michael Jackson wasn't Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was still little Michael from the Jackson 5, who had grown up. He's like 19 at this point.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, some of them didn't want to work with him. Like Quincy Jones was like, I don't know. And then once he worked with him, he's like, man, this kid's so professional. Let me produce his next couple albums. Off the Wall, Thriller. So this led to that relationship of them making, the best-selling albums of all time.
And I thought he was good, man.
Oh, I think he's the best part of this movie.
He was great, man. I mean, he's got the right emotional reaction to many different things in the movie. Where Diana Ross doesn't. Everything she actually
he has wonder.
He has range, man.
He does.
Now, there's a moment he starts out like Diana Ross in a way because he's getting beat down by these shit-talking crows.
Fellas, I did not forget the Crow Commandments, please.
Run them by me.
Thou shalt never get down off of this here pole.
You got it, Clyde.
Now, you can see he's already got a lot of energy, and that's great. And I don't want to keep harping on Diana Ross, but this is important to say, is that he's so good too because he's bringing an energy that she lacks. He's bringing an energy to this that she's not bringing because she's being so one note in this, man. And so I would like to say he's balancing them out, but no, he's actually filling a space, a void that needs that energy in this film at this point.
Maybe he could get you a brain.
You think that he can?
Toto and me, we could sure use some company. Besides, you have nothing to lose.
I don't, do I? That was so smart of you. I wish I thought of that. Indications are it would be very advantageous for me to join you. Good.
He's still crying.
Oh, God, thank you. I'm not alone anymore.
Oh, Jesus. It's like, damn, you're supposed to be happy.
It's the tears of joy.
She's mentally ill.
Yeah, probably.
What's going on with her? I like little touches with him, too, man. I like the little... we'll get into the design of the movie later, but I just want to mention this one I'm thinking about. I like that they got the little Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah, for the
on
nose.
his nose right there. Because he's made out of garbage. And I guess he was made near a Chinese food restaurant or a fortune cookie factory because he keeps pulling out these quotes from his chest and his mind and his brain is full of everything's full of trash. Of course, everything. But the irony here is that all the trash is wisdom with him. So, it's little touches like that I did like in the movie. And there's even one tender moment in here at the end, which is sad and kind of creepily prophetic with him, where he's quoting something, and it's weird knowing how his life turns out after this.
All there is that is real is the friendship. That's beautiful. I did.
Man, brother, you should have said that years later. You don't know the half. I was like, damn, that's pretty profound knowing what Michael Jackson's life was like later. But he was selling this, man. Yeah. He was selling these roles, right? When he had to be funny, he was funny. When he had to be energetic, he was energetic. When he had moments like that, little tender moments like that, they were effective, I thought.
He's got one of the best songs. He's great at doing the scarecrow walk and the movements.
That's right.
Dancing.
His body language. Yeah, he was killing it in this role right here. He's a great performer for this role. Other performers here are good. Look, Nipsey Russell is a natural. And you're right. He knows he's not a singer.
This singing is not so much.
So he kind of talks his way through the songs.
Slide some oil to me. Let it trickle down my spine.
Chris, like, I ain't giving you shit.
I'm sorry.
I hope you rust.
I think he's okay with this song. This was a couple of the other ones where it's just like, okay.
The other song, this
is a fun song.
No, he really was talking his other way through the other song. This right here is a lot of fun.
Slide some oil to me. If you don't have STP, Crisco will do just fine.
Come on, man. Come on. That's a good line right there. He ain't even made her laugh.
It did finally. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. She was like me. It's like, wow, really? Okay.
He was funny though, man. I thought he was very funny. Listen, y'all go watch some of Nipsey Russell's comedy. It's not edgy or anything, but it's very clever. And he was a very funny guy, man. And and when I was a kid, he was one of my favorite parts of the movie because I'm a little kid.
Sure.
I like the sillier parts of the movie. He's like, teeny.
A seat cushion for teeny.
I was like, when this is happening, like, what is going on? What is going on? And he does it again later.
Yeah.
That's how he cries, I guess.
I gotta tell you, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this because your reactions is just killing me, man.
Yeah, this is how I saw the movie. I was like, what is happening?
Tim Ross is amazing.
I liked him. He was the best of the group.
That Mino Lion song, that's like, man, that comes on. That was like, wow.
Yeah.
It took me back. I was like, I used to play this on repeat.
Man, and plus there would just be moments of the movie. It's almost like the original Wizard of Oz. The Cowardly Lion is just a role where, if you write it a certain way and it's performed right, that role just steals the show.
Yeah.
And there are moments where Ted Ross just comes in and just steals the show. I like that the lion's wearing heels.
Yeah. I was thinking that was an aesthetic, a design choice where they said that they had to put those on to help him balance the suit.
Okay. I didn't really notice that until when I saw this this last time during Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. I was like, wait, he got heels on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably the only person that they brought from Broadway.
Really?
Yeah.
His was the first big song. I was like, okay, now this is what I like. I thought they did it really well with him.
I'm gonna tell you, I thought the most moving performance in here, surprisingly, again, more than Michael Jackson, was Richard Pryor.
Oh,
yeah, because there's a moment. Listen, Richard Pryor. So he plays the Wiz, and if you know the Wizard of Oz, the Wiz is a con man. In the original, he was like some snake oil salesman or something, going around on balloon, selling, like false potions to people and whatnot. Here, he's a politician who sucks. He can never get elected to office. He's tried everything, even dog catcher.
Finally, in desperation, I ran for dog catcher. I like animals, don't get me wrong. I like...
I thought he grabbed his dick.
You like what?
Excuse me. And they play up Scared Pryor. You know that's Richard Pryor after a while got known for being just. They did a skit. I don't have the clip. They did a skit on in Living Color where they said Richard Pryor is scared of everything
for no reason.
Scared for no reason. That's what he calls it. Like that skit was so crazy, man. Because they ended with him. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen Living Color.
A bowl of cereal like. There's no pop in my brain. So they if you like Scared Pryor, they play him up like that in here. No pop in my brain. That says Richard Pryor, right? I want a poster there. Yeah. He's so scared. They got him scared of words. They got him scared of monologues.
Can you do something for me?
And you'll have to begin by letting people see who you really are.
She's crying again.
Just disappears in the dark.
Right. The darkness just in swallowing.
There's a lot of moments in this movie where they're surrounded by the abyss. It's just weird to me.
He has this one dramatic moment in here. And I remember watching this as a kid and just feeling really bad for him. I know he tried to get them murdered. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. So he's not a good person. But man, the way they do this scene, the way he plays it, he has this dramatic scene where he finally breaks down and just says, I'm scared and I'm lonely. And he's just pleading for them to just have mercy on him and just stay with him because he's doing all this just because he's scared.
I live here all alone in terror.
This is the most awkward, saddest part because they don't try to console him. They don't forgive him. They don't even answer him. Yeah. Everybody just like, well, what? Hey, so how you doing? They don't. It's sad, man. I just thought, man, that, to me, again, Richard Pryor is known for being funny, but Richard Pryor can, when you look at that, like, wow, this guy could act.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think the performances are good, as I said. Something great. Like, it's something we didn't expect from people like Richard Pryor or Michael Jackson. I think that's one of the things that really keeps this movie appealing because you get new people to discover the movie. Mm-hmm. Like even the editor, James, he had never really heard of the Wiz. For one, he's young, and two, he's over in Ireland. And he looked it up and he's like, what, the Wiz? He's like, oh my God, Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Richard Pryor, he's like, all of these people in a movie together. And so I think when people see the cast, it kind of blows their mind.
Sure.
And it's sort of the kind of power casting, knowing who these people are today, the superstars that they became to be later, that kind of gets people still interested in this movie. Just this kind of like, whether for better or for worse, people are like, I got to watch this because I never thought these people would be in the same movie together. Of course, we've been kind of dropping hints of this. The other thing is the music. Now, that's one of the things I'm surprised that you did not like here.
I like some of the musical numbers. You haven't gotten to, like the one with the line, the Coward Line. I thought that was probably the best one at that point in the movie. But my favorite song was the one when they get to the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, yeah.
And her sweatshop.
Don't bring me no bad news.
Yeah, and I'm a sucker for a good, villainous song, whether it be Disney or anything else. Yeah. So I thought hers was outstanding.
That's true.
Yeah. What happens after that, I think, is weird.
No, of course.
But
her movie's known for that.
Yes, but her song I thought was great.
Well, and that's the thing with this film is that they have to kind of ramp up to some of the good songs because when it starts out, it starts slow.
It does.
Yes.
And between Diana Ross being all skittish and not knowing what it's because at the beginning of the movie opens up with looks like a family reunion, but they don't really explain a lot. Now,
it's Thanksgiving, I think.
Is it Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Thanksgiving, and you can pick up from what's happening here certain things. I don't think they need to explain everything, but it is something that's going on that's not going to have any impact on the rest of the movie. Doesn't add to any kind of character. It's Aunt Em, who's I guess her daughter has had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she even tells her husband later, like, your grandfather. They're singing to her and going deep into this. And they don't really go into this girl too much after that.
I may get mad and still care.
You're like, will you shut up and just let us eat?
Especially the dude over on the right side there. You're like, I just want to eat this food before it gets cold.
Like, yeah, you know, they don't really go into the family dynamics or anything, which is kind of cool. You pick up on it, but at the same time, you know, it starts out slow and doesn't really have a huge impact on the story.
They don't even return to it at the end of the film.
No, that's what I thought. You know, you would see something where they would be greeting. I have a whole thing with the story about Diana Ross's Dorothy here too. I don't know if I should mention it now. I'll mention it later. I think I have it written down where I can mention that later.
Well, there's something that kind of goes on that I didn't really catch until she mentions it later. But one of those guys that came over, she was trying to fix her up on a date.
She's trying to hook her up, yeah.
Because that guy's like, hey, and you might go. And she just walks off. He's like, well.
Bitch, I was told to come here for you. I got hoes. Nah, man. I always thought that, I'll mention it now. I probably should wait till later, but I'll mention it now. I always thought that Dorothy would have been better as a younger person, but also instead of like playing it up that she needs to get out and get a job, what if she's adopted? And she's looking at the family and she's like, well, my adopted sister, she's probably getting more love than me because she's got a baby now and everybody's looking at her, but I'm the adopted child and I don't know if anybody really loves me as much.
That would have been interesting to do. Yeah, that would have been better. Makes more sense.
Then we could have had the whole dynamic make more sense. But and why she
feels like an outsider.
Looking crazy and shit.
I guess I always looked at it as sometimes when you have a lot of family over, it can be intimidating. Yeah. They all know each other. They're loud and everybody's like, oh, you know your uncle such and such and then your cousin there. And you're like, I don't. And I feel alien here.
Yeah. Yeah. But I tell you, once they get to Oz, that's when the music, at least the music that I remember, starts kicking in. Because I love that opening number. You know, that it's crazy, you know, but it's again, we'll get to the art direction a little later, but we can, you know, go all day about that. But the song, you know, what is it? He's the WIZ.
I love that song.
I love that song.
Sweet thing, let me tell you about the world and the way things are right. You've come.
Shut up.
Yeah. From a different place, and I know you travel far right.
I thought it was a great opening for the film right there, man.
For when they get to Oz, because that first song is when you open.
Oh, yeah, that first.
And you walk into that song, you're like, oh.
What's going on? I'm kind of confused.
Sad too. I don't know about this, man. I'm ruining my mood. I think there's another movie that introduces its main characters very well because everybody gets a really great intro number, a really great musical number to introduce themselves to the audience with.
You can't win. You get in.
I love them crows. The crows jive dancing.
Well, I love the whole thing with this where the crows just represent all the people in the neighborhood. Is like, man, you ain't gonna be shit. Stop trying to achieve something.
Man, I didn't even think of it like that. That's what
the whole song is about. You can't win, so just kick back, drink wine, you know,
smoke some weed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that is true. I never thought about it that way. Crabs. Yeah. Maybe it should have been crabs instead of crows.
Instead of crows, yeah. Well, he's a scarecrow.
Yeah, the Cowardly Lion song. You're right, man. That's one of the songs I always look forward to. That's one of the songs I think is a real is a song that brings you out your seat.
Yeah,
gets you dancing.
You'll be standing in a crowd. Well, you best not make me frown.
And you like that?
Yeah, that one's good. That one's good. Yeah.
Or I just might knock you down.
So does he just stay there all day waiting to scare people to come by?
I think so, yeah. I don't know.
When he breaks it, does he seal it back up?
Maybe he's inside. He can look out a window and see when people are coming. And then he goes down through a tunnel and comes up.
So he just rebuilds it every day.
I like that sound effect.
Yeah, and the notes he hits. And it's a whole big song talking shit about what a badass I am.
Yeah, and then
he'll be like, what you doing?
He bit my leg, he bit my paw. No. He bit me on my heels, my high heels. And yes, you are correct. Because I was just thinking this. You know, the the Sweatshop song.
Yeah, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
That's the gospel influenced song. So that's always gonna get you on your feet.
Yes.
That's always gonna be a crowd pleaser that gets you moving. Okay, so every time I see this, man, I always remember the strangest things in movies. You'll see it here. There's that dude who's trying to get the hell out of her way. When I watched this today, I'm like, man, I remember that guy so well. Ever since I saw it for the first time. Up until maybe like a couple of years ago, I thought Aunt M and the Wicked Witch were the same person.
Well, the interesting thing about the two of them is that Aunt M was the mama on That's My Mama.
On What's Happening too, right?
No. The witch was the mama on What's Happening.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. The witch was on What's Happening. Yeah. What was her name? Mabel King or something like that?
Yeah, Mabel King.
Yeah.
And Teresa Merritt, who plays Auntie M, she was the mama on That's My Mama.
Okay. Yeah, man, I felt bad. I thought they were the same all these years.
Big black lady, Corey. So they play the same big black lady in all the movies, huh?
Now, if Chris had said that, he'd jump all over him.
That's right.
I noticed I'm not arguing. I would. I would.
Yeah, now, listen, I thought the same thing too, but I stayed quiet. I stayed quiet until it was confirmed.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was always confused. I was like, why is she the sweet mother at the beginning and she's also playing the Wicked Witch?
That's how Dorothy views her, I guess. Yeah.
That's why Dorothy's scared all the time. She gonna kick me out. Get that goddamn dog. Get out of my house. And of course, you can't forget. I mean, you cannot name the music or talk about the music without talking about, I believe, probably the biggest hit from this movie.
You don't down.
Yeah, I remember being in elementary school in our first grade or something. People singing this all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
lasted for years.
Mm-hmm.
So this song is great, but and it's like, wow, this is the one I was like, holy shit. And then we got the line song and all that. I was like, okay, there's some good music here. But this is the first one that really I was like, wow, this got my attention. I hate the way this is shot.
Oh, no.
Everything about this is flat.
That is a problem throughout the movie.
Yes.
Is that people were like, why you get Sidney Lumet who does dramas. He doesn't know anything about shooting musicals. And he said, I'll show you that you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the color palette. It's all from their backs and it's just weird.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
You know what?
It's in a lot of ways he shoots things showing the open space. I'm like, you're losing the drama here.
Agreed. No, I agree with you, Chris, because ever since I've been watching this as an adult, having a more critical eye. I don't watch it just to tear it apart. But when you get older, you see things, and I was like, man, that's a really kind of obvious matte painting, and it's so flat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at some of the other songs, and I know speaking of Nipsey Russell not being able to sing, I thought, okay, maybe he's not a singer, but as long as he can bring something to it, like I did think that he brought an earnestness to the songs. Like guy's a performer. He knows what to do. He said, I'm not going to sing, but I can actually perform the song even if I have to talk through it.
I could cry. I could smile.
That's Chris.
Michael and I have the same expression watching this scene.
Are you fucking serious right now?
This guy gets 2 solo songs and I get 1? Okay.
Rewatching, I remember being a kid watching that, and we were just all so fascinated by the color dances, the green and the red and the gold. But watching it now, it's like, oh, this is shot outside, and it's from far back.
Far away
again. It just takes all the majesty out of it.
It sure does.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It's shot so far away.
Can't see anything.
Yeah.
And they're all ants.
And it just stays on it. And then, they got sets that they want to linger on. They got a long-ass piano they want to show you. Quincy Jones. That's Quincy Jones right there. I think one of the things that, here's what we're going to get in the way. You've been talking about it. Mm-hmm. One of the things I want to really talk about. I think one of the things that is the strength of this movie is also something that hurt it back in the day, and that is the art direction. Because the art direction, this is a weird movie, man. As you said, it gets insane in the end.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, it creeped me out as a kid, but in a good way. Like, I found the movie honestly creepy. when I was a little kid. It didn't scare me, but the movie also might have been too creepy and maybe even too suggestive for smaller kids back in the day. You know, that's one of the things at least I saw a lot of criticisms about this.
Well, it's the whole red light district thing. That went
poppies.
completely over my head.
Man.
Until I got much older, I was like, oh, that's right. New York in the 70s, Times Square.
Yep.
Okay.
They're all whores.
Boy, yeah, they got this one scene right here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. I mean, they got this one scene with straight up hoes.
Yeah.
Complete with porn music and everything, man. I thought titties were gonna start popping out and everything because of the music that was playing. Oh shit.
Even the computers want you to play that song.
Yeah, wait a minute.
We can cut this.
Yeah, hold on. I mean, those pants they're not ass huggers, they're ass grabbers. You know,
you see the curves tight, and everything else.
Tight. I was like, and I remember being a kid thinking like, yeah.
I got to go there one day. You know, looking at this, I go like, you know what? Remaking this as an animated movie, the perfect director be your buddy Ralph Bakshi.
Oh God! He does not need to be anywhere near this film.
That thing will never get released.
No,
that thing will never see the light of day. Oh. I looked at that as a kid. I didn't really, and I just thought that was normal because I mean, I at the time, my parents were taking me to rated R movies and everything.
Well, anyway. Same here, and things weren't as sanitized as they are now.
Yeah.
So something like this popping up in a movie was just like, yeah, okay,
sure.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, like at 6 years old, I mean, maybe that was not the right thing to do. But my brothers and sisters my mom, they were taking me to rated R movies, and so that was kind of normal to me. I don't know any better. But the creepy things in here, the stuff I had fun with, because I'm like you, Martin. You know, I had read that the movie was criticized for bringing in the urban theme. You know, the whole thing of, you know, the New York motifs in here, the New York aesthetic. Like when they go to Munchkin Land, the Munchkins turn out to be people who were trapped in walls and then there was graffiti on the walls. They were made to be like graffiti.
Yeah.
Images trapped in the walls. So when the Wicked Witch's sister's killed, the spell is broken and they're released. And it's scary the way it's happened if you're a little kid, because they're like these shadowy figures just like climbing out the wall.
Yeah, peeling off.
Peeling off, yeah, and slowly just descending down on Dorothy.
Okay,
I don't blame her right there, man.
Yeah, she can cry. Yeah, I was crying too.
Yeah. She can shit her pants if she wants to. It was just weird. Some of this stuff was just never explained. And I liked it as a kid because it made me laugh. And at the time, I thought maybe I just don't get it. It made it creepier to me that I don't understand it. But one of the things that I remember, and I remember I had Alan laughing about this because I always wanted to know, because I would always sing this song. They had that peddler in there, and they always had that song. Every time he showed up, damn crackhead,
you know, coming out of the sewers.
Yeah. Man, Black Chud coming out.
I mean, it is creepy.
It is.
Yeah,
creepy.
it is. Yeah.
And you know what's creepy about it is that he's just stalking her.
Yep.
He doesn't work for the witch or anything. He's just stalking her.
Wait.
No, you stupid ass. Somebody said he was dressed up like a rat.
Oh, later he's got on this weird mask.
He has like a rodent mask on.
Yeah, he does, man. So maybe that's what they're doing, man. They're talking maybe
I thought it was just, you know, the crazy people you got to deal with on the subway.
Yeah, the people sell stuff on the subway. Yeah, that's what I thought. But so, man, the really crazy part of this movie is one of my favorite parts. It don't make any sense, but I always thought it just looked cool. Things get really crazy when Dorothy and the gang go into the subway. And that dude, the rat man or the peddler or the crackhead, whatever, he follows him down there. And again, doesn't make any sense. But he's got these little trinkets, usually like you say, people sell on the street corner or on the subway. And they start coming to life. They start inflating and coming to life. And it's just, it's scary because there's no explanation for it.
I ain't too happy underground, y'all.
Oh, now you black.
Oh, is that a rat mask?
I think it is.
Yeah, maybe a rat.
Yeah. But why does a rat run around with shit to sell?
Inflatable hitmen? I don't know what they are. Thugs? Henchmen?
Lamp people or something?
Yeah.
Michael's like, you doing, man?
Yeah, those things are so Junji Ito.
Yeah.
Just like they're Japanese creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what I love about this is that this little part here, I always say this, but I mean it. This is a little horror movie.
Sure.
In this part of the movie, because they get chased down in what looks like an evil possessed New York subway. She's so scared she started crying. Even the tears, they were scared to come out. And then the subway, like I said, it gets possessed. Everything starts coming to life and starts trying to kill them. There's trash cans with fangs, man-eating trash cans. The subway tries to electrocute them.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, I love this part because they even going up to Toto, man. He's so many parts of the movie like.
He's always running away.
He's like, I didn't want to be here, right? I didn't want to be here. I never want to do this. I got everything I need. WIZ can't give me shit. Because I knew they were going to live. It was fun for me because it was like a spook house. It's like if at an amusement park in a way. I always loved this scene, man. But I look at it now, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense at all, man. But I still like it, man. Nostalgia maybe for me. The designs in this that were crazy. I mean, they were trying to, again, keep to a certain theme and aesthetic here. Some of them came out looking crazy, like Richard Pryor's The Wiz. He looks like a cross between Richard Pryor and Dr. Doom.
What do you snivel deadbeats want?
And a ventriloquist dummy. Yeah. I love it because he got like a metal afro. Man, the sweatshop stuff always weirded me out. That stuff is really freaky.
Yes.
Because everything is just, I remember looking, oh, here's your part right here.
Yeah.
Those little babies hanging in the sky.
Oh, God.
They don't know what to do, man.
I was like, what is happening?
They just over there like just trying to get down, man.
At first I'm like, are those babies or are those like little people?
Bro, they are little people.
When I first saw them. Yeah. He's kicking.
Yeah, hanging by wires.
They're hanging by wires, feet just dangling.
Help us.
They all grew up with back problems.
Yeah. Yeah, just help me. Yeah, the sweatshop stuff is real creepy, man, because everybody's in these costumes where they look like black rag dolls or something, or deformed human beings.
Oh, please, oh, beautiful one.
Now suffer!
Bye.
Like, what happened there?
Should have kept your mouth closed.
Yeah. I just like that. Just weird stuff happens like that. Just get sucked into the wall. And in this scene, things get even more freaky and bizarre, man. This shit just gets weirder and weirder. Probably the weirdest it's been in the movie. Yeah, like when the Wicked Witch reaches for the shoes and her fingers go backwards.
Oh, yeah, they start breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, geez.
Again, one of the things that,
nowadays you wouldn't see.
Kid friendly. Oh, you see the bones cracking out?
Yeah.
Compound fractures and shit.
They had the sound effect in there.
Yeah. So, it starts out with the Wicked Witch, which we'll talk about in a little bit, being killed. And and then all the sweatshop workers being free. And they sang what is probably behind Ease on Down the Road, what is probably the other most popular song in this movie.
Everybody be glad, cause the sun is shining just for us.
See what's going on is like Chris is even looking at this moment like, what the and he knows it's gonna get crazy.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
So that's cool. But then, you know, that's a nice number. And I'm sure Chris is thinking like, all right, well, everybody's going to go home now.
Go back to the wizard and defeated him. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have to work there anymore. Everybody's free. And then this starts happening. And Chris is like, you mean all these fine black ass women were under there?
I know.
And you didn't tell me?
How dare you, movie?
You hid that the whole time? Oh, that witch is cruel.
The witch, she was wicked indeed.
Somebody said Billy? Who said that?
Yeah. Because he wrote the screenplay. He was like, and the nipples thrusted in front of the camera.
Male nipple, that is.
Yeah, male nipple, yeah.
All that ass is free now.
I know, yeah, all wearing diapers.
That ain't gonna work in a crack den.
White people like, when did this suddenly turn to Africa?
What's happening?
It's a crazy scene.
It just doesn't. Was this
was this in the play?
I don't remember.
I don't think so. They added a lot of songs to this movie. I was reading up on this. They
added 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it was only 2 that I saw. And by the way, that song is written by Luther Vandross, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that haven't been making any sense in the movie at all throughout the movie. But
at this point, I gave up. Yeah, it was long ago.
At the end, that shit, it doesn't. They stopped trying. It don't make any sense. And beforehand, it wasn't making any sense. Like the way Dorothy gets to Oz, man. A tornado in Harlem.
A localized tornado that goes right down one narrow street.
Going down the street. Just for Diana, man. A snow tornado.
Cocaine. Like they show the tornado and then she's just in it.
She's in it. Yeah, she coked out, man.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Man, when she busted through that sign, like I guess Oz, their dimensional entry is just a big old O and Z up in the sky. Ass showing.
Yeah, I know. I guess Oz is an underground parking garage.
Yeah, it is. Here's something that I looked at and I said, "Okay, that's just dumb." So the Wicked Witch, just like the one the Wizard of Oz that we're all familiar with, she gets wet with water. If water gets on her, she melts. So same thing with this one. So if you melt with water, why do you have a sprinkler system installed in your sweatshop?
It wouldn't be up to code without that.
Okay. Is that what it is?
I mean, honestly, even with the original, it's like, why does she have a bucket of water right next to her?
Yeah, exactly. That's what people say. Same here. And nobody else had thought to pull that trigger either.
I'm sure they're all going like, oh, God damn it. We could have done this the whole time.
Oh, no. You mean that was it?
I like her throws a giant toilet, though.
Yeah.
She flushed down the toilet.
She's on a giant toilet.
Yeah.
We could have flushed her ass at any moment. I'd say the movie, I think one of the lasting appeals of this movie is that it is, for the most part, Black positivity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very positive in how it shows Black people, especially at the beginning. I mean, we're talking about how it's slow in the beginning with the song, but I really do like how they show Black families getting together at the beginning and everybody getting along.
Can you take these checkers home? Come on. Take your own checkers.
Oh, man, you always got the checkers when I was...
Okay, not everybody.
Hey, man, if there had been dominoes, somebody would have got shot.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, you got 2 Black uncles that are always gonna fight. That's just a given. But most everybody else is getting along.
Yeah.
But speaking of Black positivity, I think one of the things that has aged, and you can tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
So they did a lot of jive talk, man, in this movie. You know, they had the jive munchkins. They came out talking, pretty much, I guess, street is what people would say to Dorothy.
Relax, Mama.
Lay back, honey. We just want to lay a little thanks on you.
You know, heavy on the gratitude department.
They got the crows who are talking a lot of jive the whole time to the scarecrow.
Help you down! Man, what is going down in that hayloft you call a head? Didn't we?
Before I say anything, man, whether I like it or not, those crows did say some funny shit, man.
Yeah, they did, and they are making a point.
Yeah, no, they're making a point with them, and they said a lot of funny things. They man, some of that stuff, if you're not listening, it'll just kind of go past you.
But Bacon here said...
Bacon? Once over lightly, please.
Knowledge is power. See, in Cicero, what he says... More men are no...
Come on. That's childish, right?
Let the boy try.
Yeah, just childish, yeah. Just Cicero. It's like,
Taking every other
don't
word.
shut up, man.
I mean, they're like the crows from Dumbo, except it's honest.
Yeah. I think the crows... There was a point for that, but I think if you were to make the movie today, even talking slang like you do today, you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you try, because that even back then, that sounded like they were trying too hard.
Relax, mama.
Lay back, honey. We just want to lay over.
Yo, your trip was dope the way you landed down, but you know, they were talking that hard.
Yeah.
So even I think that's one of the things that did not actually just doesn't age well with this movie.
This movie takes a big swing at a lot of things, and I think it misses a lot. However, I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of this, but explore different aspects of Black culture, not just, I don't know, living in a city. I think that you can do so much more with that, you know, and look at, you know, both here in the United States or like around the world.
Well, New York was such a character, especially in the 70s. It's easy to see why, hey, we can set this there and there's so much to play off of. And they do have a lot they play off of. It just doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
They needed designers who were better or smarter or had more time to really do it.
Because this is what they thought. You got to keep in mind, this is what they thought Black people were.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what this feels like. It's a movie where people are going like, this is how all Black people live and what they like. And I'm just like, I don't think this is true.
It's right on the heels of the Blaxploitation era.
Yeah.
And it's coming off of that. And and everybody was so happy when this was coming out because everybody thought this is what Blaxploitation has led to. It's led to, at the time, a more positive image of Black people, you know, and led to Black people being featured in something where they were finally getting big budgets and movies and whatnot. But the movie failed, and they say,
they say, okay, that's it, no more.
you Black asses don't bring in no money. So I told you not to give them no money. But it is an interesting film, man. I mean, And I can see people being split over it because
for sure.
You know, all
absolutely.
your criticisms are valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all my criticism, you know, and I think I have some criticisms that line up with yours. And anything that I like in this, it could be argued that it is nostalgia on my part, but it can't be argued the history that this movie has had, and if nothing else, just to show how Hollywood has changed from what it was then to now. I liked how weird this movie is. You know, keep in mind, man, this was the biggest musical of its time, and it is weird.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
They would never give people money to do this kind of stuff. Not that much money.
Honestly, everything now goes so on a formula and stays on a track that it's refreshing to see something that just kind of goes weird, where you're like, I don't know why you're doing this, but okay, let's go with it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
No, if you're catching it now, you didn't catch it back in the day. You could go two ways. You're going to be like, man, this is so crazy that I love it. Or you'll be like him, and justifiably so, saying, I just don't get it.
Yeah, there's just major parts of it that don't work or should have been much better for what you know, from the material they were working with.
Yeah. It is interesting, though. So if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's a very interesting film. I mean, like we started out saying that.
Yeah, oh yeah, yes.
If nothing else, we can all agree on that it is interesting. But there you go, folks. That is The Wiz.
And he lives in Oz. He's the wizard.
Come on.
Just Michael just staring at all you right now.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the video. Did you enjoy the discussion? Think you'll enjoy the movie? Well, if you do, now you can buy it for just $7.50. And from now until February 28th, at Get Out, Queen and Slim, Straight Outta Compton, Do the Right Thing, and Girls Trip to your collection. Just go to vudu.com and redeem the code CelebrateBlackHistory. And for details, check the show notes in the description.